welcome back to my channel. My name's Caitlin if you are new here. So today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your bullet journal in this December plan with me. I absolutely love the Christmas holidays and the winter and the lights and really everything that goes along with December, and I am really looking forward to this plan with me theme. I've gone for another watercolor theme. I really loved exploring that in October with my Winnie the Pooh theme, but I wanted to keep it a little bit more simple because December is so busy and I don't really have a lot of excess time laying around. So doing watercolor just might not be a little bit realistic, which is okay, which is fine, but I still wanted to make my cover page watercolor and then incorporate a little bit of doodles and watercolor throughout the rest of the spreads. So if you are interested in that, keep on watching and make sure to stay tuned to the very end where I shout out one of you. I am so excited for another monthly plan ideas in my bullet journal. I absolutely love getting into watercolors recently, so if you are a beginner to watercolors, I hope that you find this beneficial and useful for you when planning out what you'd like to do in your bullet journal. So I started out trying to do these little cloud things, and what I ended up realizing very quickly is that working with dry paper with the wet watercolor just right on top of it didn't really give me the look that I was going for, so I ended up switching it up a little bit and ended up using a wet on wet technique. So that basically just means I applied a light coat of water, so non-colored watercolor, on top, and then I ended up going in with that pigment that I wanted just to create this blurred background effect. I've decided to stick with some really cool tones for this monthly theme idea for December because winter is coming around the corner here in Canada, which I absolutely love. I love getting some skating and I love getting out there making snowmen. So those are two things that I decided to include in the watercolors. I am very new to watercolors, so trying to figure out exactly what color to use for an ice tone, I was not really sure. So I ended up just mixing a blue and red just to kind of get a glassy look and covered it over top with a little bit of gray pigment as well. Zooming in nice and close for these little details of my little person here making another snowman to have a friend for this little one that's already been made. For this December bullet journal theme, I didn't want to go for a Christmas theme because I know not everybody celebrates Christmas, although I do celebrate Christmas and love the holidays. I wanted to make this just a little bit more inclusive for everybody when you are trying to figure out what you should plan for your bullet journal. So hopefully this bullet journal theme idea helps give you some inspiration for the winter months that are coming. I ended up going back in and adding some darkened details on top once the watercolor has dried, because if you don't do that, what's going to end up happening is all of your colors are going to bleed together, kind of like how we did that sky at the very beginning. I wanted all those colors to blend. Not really when I am working with layers and want to deepen things up a bit. Because I wanted to try out some new things that I was gifted from my aunt, these are the Spectra markers, and this is not a marker that I would recommend just using right on your bullet journal because it bleeds through, and I thought maybe I just might deepen up some of the colors here just to add a little something to the spread. Now, what I like to include when planning in my bullet journal is this cover statement page. I did want to add a little bit more definition to the clouds up in the sky, so I ended up using some more colors from Spectra, that kit that I got. I'll have everything linked down in the description box below for you guys if you are interested to see exactly what colors I used and what colors like for specific spreads. I do lay everything out all there, as well as some links to Amazon if you are interested in buying those. I did want to do this easy calligraphy style, and I've been loving doing this faded bottom. You'll see here I ended up doing in December. However, I switched it up a little bit and I darkened the middle part with the pen that I used before, that blue Tombow brush pen, but I did come back in with my N75 brush pen as well from Tombow just to add a little bit of a darker or deep base, and of course added a little drop shadow as well to make sure that that December stood out just a little bit better. Here is what the cover page looks looked like. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and this one was definitely a lot easier to do versus my October plan with me. Moving on to the next bullet journal spread for planning out my month. I love having a monthly calendar, and I am just going to be plopping in a larger sized calendar than I have in the last couple months because December is really busy with all of the festivities that are going on. So I'm gonna need a lot of space to write out all of the tasks that I want to get done throughout the month. For example, I'm going Christmas tree shopping in the first week of December, and I love getting a real Christmas tree. I don't know if anybody else is like that. I only ever grew up with real Christmas trees because I love the smell. So I just absolutely am so looking forward to that. So that is definitely one thing that's going on my calendar. What is something that you guys are really looking forward to doing in December? Let me know in the comments down below. Literally, this is my favorite time of the year, so I would be really interested to see what you guys do. One of the things that I wanted to make sure I was doing is putting in a little bit of a sketch. Now, I ended up going in with that light Tombow brush pen color in the gray N75 just to kind of have a base of my snowman, and I do this with all the other designs that I did throughout this theme. It just made sure that it added a little bit of a base so I could go over top with the colors, but not stand out so much that if I didn't want that gray color there fully, it didn't take over the piece. That is something that I would definitely recommend if you guys want to have something a little bit more permanent in your journal and you're going through after pencil. Always start with a gray base next and then add in your colors if you want to be a little bit more tentative. Now, I've ended up deciding to cut the sides, so I love having tabs in my bullet journal, and I actually saw another YouTuber here in the bullet journal community, Julia Royal Journals, I'm pretty sure her name is. I'm gonna link her down below. She did something very similar in her November plan with me where she created different tabs within her monthly setups. So I usually create them for my weekly spreads, but she also did it for her monthly, which just makes them easier to check out. And I loved that and definitely missed something like this when I was planning out my November plan with me because I did a scrapbook theme and I didn't end up accounting for any tabs. So that is something I am definitely including in this December bullet journal plan with me this month because they were duly missed. I wanted to put some Christmas spread related theme in here, and I've shown you something very similar before in the past. I did a Dutch drawer spreads idea video, and I ended up doing something like this as a date night, but I wanted to show you just how to use it in another form. So I'm doing a Christmas what I need to buy for everybody, and because I don't want anybody to see what they would be getting or the ideas that I have for them, I just wanted to keep them hidden. So those tabs flip up, different events, to-do lists, and then gifts for my parents, my siblings, and my girlfriend, and then anybody else that I want to include things for. So this page is really simple, but it is a way to use up the different scraps that you might be having with your bullet journal if you do Dutch drawers, or if you have those little packs from Archer and Olive. I really love that they have dotted packs. Would highly recommend getting one if you always glue things into your bullet journal or tape things like this. On to the next bullet journal spread for this monthly plan with me. I have a memories page, and to tie everything in, I wanted to just create a very similar theme to what my cover page looked like, except I wanted to zoom it out a bit. So I have a little town on the left, lots of little evergreen trees, and then in the very center I have that pond with the skating and the little person with the little mini snowman now, just as well, because I'm not using watercolor for every single spread because it's gonna take a little bit of time and December's really busy, so I don't actually think I'm gonna have as much time as I want to invest. And since I want to set myself up for success and actually use my bullet journal, I know that if I dedicate using watercolor completely, I'm not going to actually use it. And that's the whole point of my bullet journal, is to increase my productivity, make sure that I'm focused in, and watercolor just might not be the thing for me this month. But I did want to show you what I would do as a simple spread, including different mediums. I am using the same lettering style throughout, which you'll see here, and I found a new trick with the whiteout. If you haven't already seen my how to bullet journal on a budget, I basically walk through how I bullet journal with only $25. So I went online, I did a little bit of shopping, and I ended up realizing I wanted a white jelly pin pumpkin, but those things are expensive when you are on a budget, so I ended up using whiteout. And I'm actually really loving it, and I've included it a lot within these spreads. So if you ever need to find yourself a really pigmented white jelly pen, use a whiteout stick. Definitely would recommend. On to the next spread. I want to make sure that I am tracking my expenses. There are lots of different ways that you can track your expenses, or just make sure that you have some sort of financial journal of a sort. And what I am doing here is very basic, just putting down the date, the description, and then whether or not it's coming out of my cash envelope, since I do cash budgeting, and then how much that is going to be affecting it. So income would increase it, and then obviously spending things would decrease it. My habit tracking on the right side of the page is one of these spreads that I love including. However, it did not get a lot of love in my November plan with me because I ended up using a black paper in the back. And I didn't always have a white pen on me, so I ended up finding that it did not get used like at all in November, but I am back at it in December. I haven't quite figured out what I want to track, but I think I want to track, well, I love tracking my walking, but I haven't been doing it lately. But now that it's getting cold, I think I might need to just adjust my expectations on that and only try and get like 5,000 steps in a day, because I work from home and I don't really like falling on ice. On my last spread here, I'm going to be showing you how to set up a weekly in your bullet journal. I did something very similar in my August plan with me, and I thought it would be a really cute idea to pull out different Crayola pens, and I ended up using one that I did also find from that bullet journal on a budget video. This is a really simple bullet journal setup for beginners, especially if you just want little details. Maybe you're great at doodling. This would definitely be recommended for you, because all that I do is put these little doodles in the corner of the spread. So I did a snowman, little mistletoe, evergreen trees, and then some skates as well, just to kind of tie in the winter theme, but not go full out holiday, Christmas, festive. But if you do celebrate Christmas or any other holiday like Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, things like that, you could also direct it towards your holiday that you celebrate. Or if you don't celebrate anything, you can do something like I am and just kind of attribute it to the season with winter. When you are planning out your bullet journal, you want to do what works best for you. And this weekly spread idea I absolutely love, because everything's kind of already pre-planned out. They all have their little sections and spaces. But something that I do when I run out of that space is I just start writing it in the next box over, because sometimes I have a couple things I need to do that I just keep overflowing my space with, and another day I might have absolutely nothing to do. So it just kind of depends, but I like the way this looks, having everything set up ahead of time, because it increases the likelihood that I'm actually going to use my bullet journal. Do you guys find that you end up not using your bullet journal if you pre-plan things out? I know that I try and always set up my bullet journal on like a Sunday or a Monday whenever I have time for the week ahead. Just makes my life a little bit easier when I'm using this tracking to just increase my organization. Otherwise, it'll be a little bit chaotic. But that's really it in this bullet journal spread. It was a little bit more chatty, I would say, but here is just the flip through. Let me know down in the comments below if you are interested in seeing anything else. I will be having a how to set up your bullet journal at the beginning of the year video coming out very soon, because it's coming close to 2022. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you to Victoria, who has commented on the last video, well, 2 videos ago, because last video was my subscriber giveaway. If you haven't watched that, or if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do another giveaway soon. And if you want to be shouted out in next video, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below It really does help support the channel to grow. I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!